Yo, what's up guys? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what I think the DCCU's Justice League roster should look like. Last week we went over my Justice League movie in my DC Cinematic Universe, but that's just my pitch. But in this video, we're going to be talking about what I think the lineup will probably look like and should look like in real life, judging off of all the projects that have been announced so far and what I think we can kind of expect. The typical Justice League rosters have about 7 members on it most of the time. I'm going to go over that and go with 9 members, but we have about 15 characters because the ninth member is going to be just honorable mentions basically, and then that last roster spot could be really any of them. And the reason why I wanted to go with more than that is just because obviously half the roster we already know is going to be the Trinity, and then you have to have Flash, and then you have to have Green Lantern, you know? So we're going to just go over that limit and talk about some people that we could potentially see on this roster. We're also going to talk about what I think their design should look like because we never really got the chance to talk about David Cornsweet's Superman suit. So I feel like that would be a good chance to talk about it because I don't know when else I would talk about it. To get things started, taking roster spot number 1, we have Superman. Everybody saw that coming. And honestly, I think David Cornsweet's Superman is going to be really good. I'm super excited for that movie. And I honestly think the suit is like really, really, really good. Like, I don't think I could have done any better. Only thing I would change is probably just some of the lines, but that's just if I really had a nitpick. I'm literally perfectly fine with the suit, and I honestly hope they don't change it. The thing about comic book movies nowadays is they always want to change suits so they can make more money and get more toys and all that fun stuff. But honestly, I'm okay if they keep it the same. Taking roster spot number 2 is Batman. This is another obvious pick, but since this is such an obvious pick, let's really just talk about what I want to see from this Batman. This Batman has to be kind of young, and there's a lot of rumors going out right now saying he's going to be young, like Superman's age, and there's some saying he's going to be old, like Ben Affleck's Batman was. Honestly, I think Superman is going to be about 30. I think Batman should be about 35, 36. I'm perfectly fine with that. So that's how I do for his age. And then for the suit, since this Batman and Robert Pattinson's Batman will be having their movies released during the same time frames, I think it's important to make them different. Robert Pattinson will probably stay grounded and dark. And I think this one should be more fantastical and lighthearted, but also kind of keep things dark a little bit too. It has to be a good mixture. So, with that being said, I want the suit to look like this. I would like to see some of the colors. Since Robert Pattinson's suit is mainly just dark gray and black, let's add some lighter gray, blue, yellow, but a dark blue and a light gray, I think that'd be a really good suit for him. Taking roster spot number 3 is going to be Wonder Woman. Obviously, everybody knew she had to be on the team. I'm honestly really excited to see some Wonder Woman stuff because I liked her in the DCEU, but everybody else liked her way more than me. Like her movies and just her character overall. I was never that much of a fan, but I did like her a lot. So I want to see if I could like the character even more, and I think hopefully James Gunn's universe could get me into her even more. I think she should look like this. Honestly, I'm okay with whatever design they go with for Wonder Woman because I don't think they could really choose a bad one. So here's just a couple of the ones that I think could look cool. Taking our 4th roster spot is Green Lantern, specifically Jon Stewart. They recently just cast Hal Jordan and Jon Stewart. Hal Jordan is going to be played by Kyle Chandler, who is, I think, 59 or 60. And the person who just got announced to playing Jon Stewart is Aaron Pierre. And he is around the same age as Batman and Superman. So I think that's honestly fine. Honestly, I don't, just like with Wonder Woman, I don't think you can really mess up the Green Lantern suit. I know some set photos have leaked of Guy Gardner's suit in the new Superman movie, and I agree that that suit looks really bad. But we'll talk more about that later because I think there's a reason why those suits look bad. I really don't. As long as it's a normal looking Green Lantern suit, I'm okay with it. But for some ideas, here are some. For our fifth roster spot, we have Hawkgirl. Hawkgirl is super important to me, not because I know much about the character, because I actually don't, which is why I actually want her on the team. A lot of the rosters have like the same 7 to 8 characters, and they'll switch out a couple of them. But Hawkgirl, Hawkman, people like that, and then some more people that will be on this list, they don't really ever get the spotlight. So I think it would be cool to add Hawkgirl. She could also bring some of the youth to the team, another female. Also, the main reason is because the plot synopsis for the new Superman movie says, follow Clark Kent as he reconciles his heritage with his human upbringing. He is the embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way in a world that views this as old-fashioned. And basically, what that's saying, and what we know from the set photos, is there's going to be heroes in this universe. Mr. Terrific, Hawkgirl, Metamorpho, and Guy Gardner. At least. There's probably going to be more, but those are the ones we know about so far. They're going to be superheroes, and I'm pretty sure they're going to be killing people, or maybe not killing people, but they're going to be darker than Superman. And Superman's going to essentially be a symbol of hope like he should be, which sounds really good in my opinion. And I think honestly what's going to happen is he's going to get some of these heroes, if not all of them, to change their ways, and they're going to look up to Superman. So in my head, once Superman shows them how they should be as heroes, some of them are going to join the Justice League, and I think one of those main people will be Hawkgirl. For her design, the one that we've seen the set photos of looks bad, obviously, but like I said, that's a very clear reason, I think, because they're working on a team, and that's like a team uniform. But really, these are just some that I think could work better, and honestly, any of these works fine in my opinion. For our sixth roster spot, we have Martian Manhunter. Martian Manhunter was supposed to be in the DCEU, but obviously it never really worked out, and we never got much of him. So I think now would be a good chance. Also, he's super, super, super powerful, and I don't think a lot of people understand that. So I think it would be a good time to give him some spotlight and change things up a little, you know? For his design, my favorite design would be this one right here. It's even on the thumbnail, I think, because I like it a lot, but also there's just not much better ones. Taking our seventh roster spot is Zatanna. The reason why I really want her on the team, she brings super unique abilities. She is going to be on the younger side. She could have really good chemistry with Hawkgirl, and I could definitely see a trio of Wonder Woman, Hawkgirl, and Zatanna being really fun to see on screen. Like I said before with Hawkgirl and Martian Manhunter, she also doesn't really get much spotlight, but she could definitely be a fan favorite character if given enough time and effort. So I say why not try something new and put her on the team. For the age, because she's normally Dick Grayson's age. Since we know Batman's going to have like a Damian Wayne and a whole Bat family, I'd imagine Nightwing is going to be pretty old. Just have Zatanna be a couple years older than Nightwing. I think she should look like this. Taking our eighth roster spot is The Flash, specifically Barry Allen. Obviously, he should have been at the top of the list, but the reason I wanted to wait to talk about him for later is because a lot of people are divided on whether they should go Barry or Wally. And man, I just really, really, really hope that she's Barry, because nothing against Wally, but I like Wally being a sidekick and being on a Teen Titans or a Titans or a Young Justice team. So honestly, I'd rather have Barry be the main Flash and then have Wally come in later and then extend out into a Flash family just like you have a Bat family. I like that idea. So I just really hope they do Barry. Also, they're both obviously interesting characters, but Barry Allen specifically as the Flash is one of my favorite superheroes ever. But I just don't think that the show or the movie really got it right. Just like with the other ones, I don't think you can mess up the suit. What material you make the suit out of, and not too many overly used like lines, then I think it'll be fine. But mainly the material I think should just be like fabric, not too much metal. And then for our ninth roster spot, we really don't have anybody. These are just all honorable mentions. Honorable mention 1, Green Arrow. Green Arrow would be really good on the team. The only problem is we already have Batman. And they essentially do the same thing, except for Batman just does it better.
He does exactly what I do, but better.
And I know that's going to make a lot of Green Arrow fans upset, but the other reason why I can't put him on the team and give him an official roster spot is because it's kind of a package deal. So our next honorable mention is Black Canary. Black Canary, super cool and interesting to me because she's like one of the best fighters in all of DC Comics. She's like super underrated in my opinion. I think it would be cool to give her some time to shine, but honestly, I'd be okay if her and Green Arrow just have their own thing and just kind of do their own stuff together and then maybe tie into the Justice League and crossovers. Next up, we have Cyborg. Cyborg, the reason why I'm not giving him a roster spot is because he could honestly be any age you want him to be. He could be an adult, a young adult, a teenager. He could be anything. There's so many different versions of Cyborg out there that fit into different things. So honestly, you could just put him on whatever team you want to put him on, and I think it'll work fine. Next up, we have Aquaman. I actually really want Aquaman to be on the team just because I think Jason Momoa did such a good job. He did like a better job than he was supposed to do. Aquaman is never supposed to be that cool or interesting, but I think he actually made him really interesting. So, yeah, I would love for him to be on this team, but the reason why I'm not putting him on it is because I think because of all those reasons I just said is why they wouldn't want him on the team. I could definitely see them wanting to give somebody else their time to shine, but I would definitely be okay if he filled up this last roster spot. Next is Supergirl. We know Supergirl's getting her own movie, and that's honestly interesting to me because what's next for her after that movie? I could honestly for sure see her be on this team, but I don't know if that'll be later or as soon as they form it or what. But honestly, I'm just interested to see because the comic Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow is honestly really good, and I just read it recently. I think it's really interesting. I'd be okay with her being on the team, but I mean, we have Superman, so I don't know if we want somebody else. Which is also the same reason why this next person is not going to make the cut. And this isn't one specific person, but I would definitely like to see another Green Lantern on the team. Whether that's Hal Jordan, even though he's a little bit old. We could also go with Kyle Rayner. Or my personal favorite is Jessica Cruz. I just think she's really cool, and I'd be really down to see her interact with them. But as you'll see in my DC universe, we'll get all of these characters essentially. We're just going to split them up into different themes. Another honorable mention is Mr. Terrific. We know he's going to be in Superman. He looks like he's going to have a lot of screen time with Superman. So I could definitely see him being suggested for this team. But I don't know if he'll actually want to do it, and maybe he could form the Terrifics instead. But maybe he'll help out the Justice League every once in a while. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video. Let me know who you guys would want for that final roster spot, or if you just have your own roster and hate mine. I think Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, and Flash all have to be there, and Green Lantern too. But I think outside of them, it could really be anybody. So just let me know what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.